Hello everyone, I am Phoenix Tremaine, and this is my commentary on Divorce Court, Season 20, Episode 2. I think it's Valero versus Valero. And, well, first, if you haven't done so, please take a minute to subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I have two channels. One is called Web Series and Movies. That one's monetized. This one is Phoenix Tremaine. It's my name and the name of my company. And it's not monetized, so on this channel, I get to say what I want because, and I have to worry about whether I'll be demonetized or not. So I comment all the time on Divorce Court's actual YouTube channel, and that has inspired me to comment on the shows on my own channel as well. And I'll put the link to the actual episode I'm talking about in the description box so that you can actually go on the Divorce Court YouTube channel and watch it yourself and maybe come back and comment on it if you haven't seen the show yet. So this one, right out the gate, the wife just annoyed the hell out of me. I wasn't feeling her. I wasn't feeling anything about her. Her look, her hair, her makeup, her attitude, nothing. You know, because sometimes you see guys in real life, like, I know it's all real life, and you like, why'd you marry her? You know what I'm saying? Was the head good? Is that what the issue was? You know, good head, and 3 months later you're giving her a promise ring, and 7 months later you're marrying her, you know? In how many ways did she annoy me, you know? So let's first talk about how fast that courtship was, because that was ridiculous. Anybody, and I've been telling my friends this for 20, 30 years, that, you know, anybody can be good for a short period of time. Anybody can be good for 90 days. Anybody can be good for a year, even up to 2 to 3 years. People can wear a mask and not show who they truly are. Usually it's not until you actually live with a person that you actually get to see them 24/7, where they're not able to hide certain things about their behavior from you if you're observant. So the fact that I put in here as my note that, you know, she came off a little thirsty to me, because it's okay for a girl to go in a guy's DMs and say she likes him. Happens to me all the time on Facebook, Instagram, not really on Twitter, because I don't do Twitter a lot. I'm trying to, but I haven't really posted on Twitter a lot. And even on my YouTube channel, I get it all the time. Are you single? You know, do you have somebody? Blah, blah, blah. Even though I've been saying on these latest videos, yes, relationship, 7 years. But, you know, so it's okay to contact someone and to see if there's a connection there. So I'm not saying she's thirsty because of that. I'm saying she's thirsty because she rushed into this relationship. He rushed in it too. He had a little thirst in him too. And in 3 months, you don't know each other that well. In 3 months, you know, you still don't want to go to the bathroom in that person's house. You know, for a lot of people, it's like, I can't take a shit in your house because I don't want you to start thinking things about me. Some people, you know, they won't even eat the way they normally eat in front of you. You know, so it's like, it's so many things that a person can temporarily hide from you. So it would even have been better for them to live together for a year and see if they wanted to continue the relationship versus, you know, rushing into this 3 month. And, you know, he gave her the ring, so that's why I say he's thirsty too. So ladies, don't get too mad at me for saying she's thirsty. That's just kind of the vibe that I was getting from her, especially when both of them are thirsty, because, so I don't want to just put it on the lady, because, you know, he's on social media like, oh, tell me I'm cute, tell me I'm nice. Ooh, I need somebody in my life, you know, to tell me nice things about myself because I don't feel them, so I need to hear them all the time. And she said she's doing the same thing. Well, my husband's not communicating with me, so I got to go online to find a guy who's gonna, tell me how much he likes me too. So, tit for tat. That's like the childish high school behavior that you don't bring into a marriage, period. And I think Judge Lynn is definitely 100% right when she hit the nail right on the head that, communication is what's missing in this relationship. In the particular relationship I'm in now, we communicate all the time. I think that's why things have gone so well, is that even though we don't live together, we have keys to each other's houses, but we don't live together, but I mean, every day there's a good morning text if we're not in bed together in the morning because we don't see each other every day. So it's like, good morning, good afternoon, how's your day going so far? What are you doing tonight? Even being respectful about person time, even though we both had keys to each other's houses, is like, hey, I want to come over tonight, blah, blah, blah. We say good night every night. In other words, we constantly communicate, and I personally have brought communication down to a science so that when I feel like I'm with someone that I want to be in a long-term relationship with, I will learn everything about you. I'm a good cook, so it's like I learn what you like to eat. I learn what kind of movies you like, what TV you like, intellectual conversations, what are the subjects that will get you excited the most when we're having a conversation. And so I learned everything about you. That's sort of like in the other video I just did, I said, I believe we're kind of soulmates because we can finish each other's sentence and blah, blah, blah. It's because we both have that communication. We both learn those things about each other so that, it's like, baby, hey, I got this for you, baby. I know you've been wanting this, or I know you've been feeling that way, or, how's things going today? I know you might have been a little depressed or something. So how are things going? So, we constantly communicate throughout the day. And, I'll know one of the signs of cheating is if things begin to change. So if our communication begins to change, then I know that's because you're communicating with somebody else, because I know this is what you like, this is how you feel, this is what we do. So the first sign of cheating is when a person no longer start changing their patterns, changing their habits, changing, okay, so we used to say goodnight every night if we weren't together, and then when we are together, and then all of a sudden now, oh, you overslept, you didn't get a chance to say goodnight. No, you was with somebody else and you couldn't go on the phone. So it's little things like that you learn. So so when you're communicating with somebody, it's also a way to also monitor like behavior and changes in behavior so that you can sort of foresee rocks in the bumpy road a relationship can take and nip that shit in the bud as soon as possible, instead of letting it get out of control. And the next thing you know, they have a whole nother life you didn't know about for years. Anyway, I went off on on a whole nother road, but because it's all about communication, and this is what this couple lacks. My note about them being thirsty, they both are not communicating with each other. Now, here's another situation of why I really dislike this woman, is that I had a dating situation, I would say 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and I knew that it wasn't time to say, okay, now I want to be my mother. But I was dating someone who was like, I want to know your whole family. I want to be on Thanksgiving. I want to come over for Christmas. I want to. And I'm like, look, I know my mother, and I know what she likes, what she don't like. See what I'm talking about? How you learn people that you care about. And I said, look, now is not the time. We still getting to know each other. And I know that with your personality and my mother's personality, things ain't gonna go well. And you know what? You know what they said? Well, I would tell that bitch, but wait, you just referred to my mother as a bitch. Now, I know that my mother, God rest her soul, may she rest in peace, um, could be difficult and judgmental, which is why, like I was dating a girl in high school who my mother thought was ugly. And so she did everything she could to make sure that I didn't continue to date this girl who was ugly in her eyes because she didn't want me having ugly grandchildren. So, so my mother, God rest her soul, don't say nothing bad about her. But but I knew my mother, like, you gotta look a certain way and you gotta sound a certain way and have some education. So it's like, during the dating process, I have to vet before I'm like, okay, now you can come meet mom, because I don't want there to be dysfunction and a bunch of BS. I already know that back then I hated Thanksgiving. I hated Christmas because, like, I don't go to family reunions because I don't like the drama. I don't like the family BS. So if I don't want to go to Thanksgiving, so why the hell am I taking you? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's my family, my dysfunctional family. So when she called his mother a bitch, I'm like, no matter how I feel about my mother, no matter how many dysfunctional relationships we've been in, no matter how many awful things she did to me, she was a good mother, but she had some huge missteps and she did some pretty messed up stuff at different points in my life. But I respected her. I never called out her name. I never hit her. I tried not to throw certain things back in her face about, things that happened. Very rarely would I go there unless I just had to, like, give my mother a reality check. Look, you remember that time I ran away from home because you beat the shit out of me with a broom when I was a kid? Whole other story I might tell one day. But when I left to go to the store, I knew I wasn't coming back, but that beating I took and not wanting to fight my mother back, I knew when it all was said and done, I was done. And she begged me to come back, and I thought about it, and I said, okay, we'll give this thing another chance, but that can't happen again. So I had to put my foot down on certain situations. But I'm allowed to say, my mother was this and that for doing that, but you better not say it. There's certain boundaries and lines you don't cross, even when somebody's parent or child or whatever is wrong. You kind of just become an active listener. Sorry to hear that. That was a horrible situation. How's your relationship now? Because people grow and change. And so, but the war that has started with calling the police and threatening to poison, allegedly, the mother and all that kind of stuff, that I don't do drama very well. So it's like, I've always said one of the things, like, I never had a problem getting a relationship, but they've always had a hard time holding on to me because, I'm a very, like, I tell people when they want to date, whether they're male or female, I just did this with a friend the other day, you make a list. On one side of the list is all the things that you can tolerate or you would want or you would love in a relationship. And then on the second part of the list are your deal breakers. If you do this, I'm done. Period. I'm out. So if you want to physically fight, raise your hand to me, blah, 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 no, we ain't going there. I'm going to leave you because, I ain't got a problem finding somebody, shit. So it's not like I've got to stay in a dysfunctional relationship with you. We ain't doing that. I grew up in a situation where my mother was abused by her husband for 9.5 years before we finally escaped. And I knew when I was a kid, I never wanted to be in a relationship where police were being called, bruises, black eyes, beatings, death threats, all that escalation. And then we live in a world where being black, getting the police called on you, for some silly stuff. And the next thing you know, you open up your cell phone and some cop think it's a gun and you're dead. Or the cop tells you, hey, it's a traffic stop, license registration. You go reach for your registration. Next thing you know, you're dead. So they're good cops, they're bad cops, but you never know what kind of cop you're going to get until they show up. So as a black man, I don't want to be in those situations, and no, I don't want to be part of that dysfunction. I always wanted to be in a relationship where we uplifted each other. We both were ambitious. We both had goals, and that we would be a power couple and achieve those goals. That has always been what I looked for. That is what I have now. Okay. So, yeah, you got to know what you won't tolerate. I don't tolerate drugs because I don't drink, smoke, do drugs. Never have, never tried it. No weed, no nothing. So it's like, why am I going to be sitting here dating somebody, getting high all the time, getting drunk all the time, when, I'm sober and you're now acting a fool? I prefer a non-drinker, a non-smoker, but if you need a glass of wine at dinner or something when we're out, I have no problem with that. If you need to drink every night after you get home from work, we got a problem. You're not the one for me. So luckily, all of my major relationships, I've been with people who don't drink or drink lightly or drink not around me, or definitely no drugs. No drugs. So I've been lucky like that. So you got to know what your deal breakers are. And one of my deal breakers was disrespecting my mother, disrespecting my family. I know they ain't shit. Most of them. Some are great people. My Aunt Reese, love you. If you ever see this, yes, I love my Aunt Reese. But my mother was young as 11, so there's a whole bunch of other aunts and uncles I don't give a shit about. But, because they were horrible people to us when we were growing up. But Aunt Reese, you always been there for me. I love you. So you got to know your boundaries and your lines, and he wasn't man enough to not create those boundaries and lines for his wife and his mother, which he should have done. And that caused way too much dysfunction in relationship, because Judge Lynn was right, absolutely right, when she said, you don't tell your mother when the sex is good. You don't tell, your mother when she's doing right. You run and tell your mother when she's doing wrong. And it's the same thing whether it's a man or a woman. You constantly telling your family and your friends horrible things about the person you're dating. Every time you get upset, then they're going to have a horrible impression and like that person, not like that person, even before they even meet them. So my thing is this: you've got to be strategic. Now, if you're in a relationship and it's dysfunctional and he or she is abusive, hitting you, emotionally abusing you, physically abusing you, you tell everybody, okay? Because they're going to be the ones that help you get out that situation. If, y'all had some stupid, everyday relationship argument, don't have a job, ain't washing the dishes, so dirty, nasty, blah, blah. That's a conversation you have between you and your significant other. That is not a conversation you have with you and your friends. Maybe your closest best friend, y'all may commiserate about stuff like that. But people who love you and are going to hate anyone who does anything wrong, yeah, you don't want to necessarily set yourself up that's going to be an awkward Thanksgiving. That's going to be an awkward family reunion. That's going to be an awkward birthday. That's going to be an awkward holiday. That's going to be an awkward first meeting because they only have bad things to go by. So you also want to make sure you say all of the good things. Oh, I just met someone. They're amazing. They brought me flowers. They cooked this great meal. You got to make sure they know about the good stuff too. So that's about it. I'm not even going to go there with her from yelling and screaming. But I'll go back to this, calling him slow because he has ADHD. That's another deal breaker. That's emotional abuse. Okay, that's when you leave. That's when you roll out. That's when you don't get engaged to someone in 3 months and then marry them in 7 months. You know, that stuff only gets worse because she or he will constantly be frustrated, and the more frustrated they get, the more they're going to start talking down to you, the more bad you feel about yourself, the more you'll be out there on the internet trying to get somebody to tell you that you look good and you're a good person. You're trying to get all those reaffirming feelings from someone other than the person that supposedly be married to. They don't have any kids together. So this marriage should be kaput. In my opinion, I don't think it will get better. Although at the end of the episode, it supposedly said that they have better communication and talk to each other more and they have a better marriage now. But based on that episode, I think there's going to be a whole lot of cheating and a whole lot of confusion and a whole lot of drama. And I think they would be better suited seeing other people. If they've actually fixed this relationship by some miracle, okay, cool. You know, I can be wrong. But I don't know. When I read that ending, I was like, she puts makeup on him when he's asleep because she's angry at him. Her and his mother hate each other, and it's causing confusion. You know, I guess with a good therapist, which was not mentioned, you know, you may be able to work out certain issues and get back on track. But I just saw too much childish behavior to say that I would think that they're ready for a relationship. So thank you for watching. Tell me what you thought in the comments. Watch the episode, support divorce court, support me. And I want to know what you think. Do you think, like I think, that they should have went their separate ways before they do have a kid and get stuck together? Or do you think they should just hang in there in steely silence and circle each other till they get it right? Yeah, that's Judge Lynn's advice from the previous episode. Thanks for watching, and I really do appreciate you. See you in the comments. Bye.